Hey everyone, Kathy the Vegan Prepper here to bring you my first ever affiliate video, which I kind of can't believe this has happened to me, but this is a zero waste conversation and haul and review video. But first off, I am going to talk about Azure Standard, who contacted me and asked me if I would like to be an official affiliate for them. Based on the fact that I was already a customer and already posting and talking about them. So they contacted me and asked basically if I wanted to make it official. And I was like, well, sure. That sounds great. I'd love to, help out my family by continuing to do something I was already doing. So there's going to be a link down below that's a specialized link for us that you can click. And if you use that link and then sign up with them, it looks good for us and helps us continue to bring content like this to you. But my most exciting possibility for any of this is the fact that I'll be able to be getting product from them, which I am personally planning on using as future giveaways. So subscribe and keep on the lookout for future Azure Standard giveaways to help you build your own stash and prepare your family for whatever it is that you are preparing for. But I want to get right into really fast why I love Azure Standard so much, specifically in the zero waste conversation. So one of the main ways that you can help lower your waste and your impact on the planet is to be buying in bulk. Mainly because it helps cut down on packaging. You don't have, a million of, instead of getting 25 plastic wrapped bags of pounds of beans from the store, you could get a single 25-pound bag of beans that comes in paper, like you can get from Azure Standard. And it is just paper. It's not, no plastic liner inside, just a paper bag. And it's just so great to me. I love that so much. And so much of their stuff just comes packaged in paper, even if you aren't getting a massive size. So you can shop in bulk, but you can also choose to buy smaller packaging sizes. So for instance, right here, I have an 8-pound bag of garbanzo bean flour, which I purchased in a smaller size to see if I like it and how much I'm actually going to use it before I decide to get a huge package of it. But this too just came wrapped up in paper. There's no plastic liner on the inside. And I just love that about this. And then this can be recycled or composted. Actually, we tend to use this a lot of times as our carbon addition into our composting because we live in the middle of the desert and there are not giant trees everywhere giving us leaves and that kind of stuff. So we basically just use usually paper bags from the store torn up and then stuff like this, if we're not using it as lining for mulching in our yard and things like that. So we get to just reuse this and just basically take care of the waste almost completely by ourselves. So I really appreciate that. I also appreciate that so much of what they sell is organic and just in general kind of better for the environment without super harsh pesticides. I know it's kind of a myth that organic doesn't use any pesticides. They do still use some, but they're not using some of the harshest ones that exist. You know what I mean? I can say some names. I'm not going to name names because I don't want to get sued. But I'm just saying, they don't use some of the absolute worst ones that exist. Roundup. So I just wanted to sort of point that out. So when you start shopping bulk though too, I wanted to kind of point out another thing that you can do to help yourself be more low waste in your life is to source thrifted or secondhand goods. And so now that we've been buying from Azure Standard and we have all these big bags of goods, I've got 2 25-pound bags of beans sitting right over here and a 25-pound bag of oats. Out in my Arizona room, I got a 25-pound bag of whole wheat pastry flour. I got a 50-pound bag of bread flour. I got whole wheat bread flour. I got, so much stuff everywhere, and I needed to start getting food grade buckets for the storage to help keep it safe from critters and all of that stuff. And now Azure Standard does technically sell food grade buckets, but they're brand new, and I mean that's fine, but they're not the cheapest thing on earth, and I like to source my stuff cheaper and also used if I can, certain things. And the food grade buckets was definitely something I wanted to source used. I had spent weeks calling local restaurants and stores and could not find a single place that would give me buckets for free, which I have heard that you can do. I couldn't find it myself. And so I finally went on Facebook Marketplace and found a guy who was selling 6.5-gallon buckets for $4 each. They're the same diameter as 5-gallon buckets. So they're still going to fit the 5-gallon lids, but they're actually just a little bigger, and I like that. So I got 10 of those sourced, used this weekend to help store some of this stuff. So that's kind of the one thing I kind of want to talk about too, or just mention that if you're going to start buying in bulk, start kind of having a plan in place for exactly how you're going to store that stuff. So up until recently, we were just essentially using our chest freezer as our storage for all of these giant bags of things, but now we're kind of expanding beyond the chest freezer, and I'm needing to do more storage. I also ended up getting, so it's funny, I didn't get the buckets from Azure Standard. I'm not good at the commercial thing. But anyway, I'm just letting y'all know. Like I said, see, like I'm not saying anything that I would not already say. I did end up sourcing, though, a whole bunch of Mylar bags and oxygen absorbers from them. And it's funny, like all this stuff so far, I don't have a single thing yet that I bought after I talked to them. Okay, I want to hop in here and talk really fast about the Mylar bags, because I know that those are not really very zero waste, but the thing is that they are reusable multiple times. And I still find, like, every single time you open it, if it's been sealed, you can reseal it and just keep using it until it like disappears. And so for me, the Mylar bag is like where you want to be prepared, but unfortunately part of being prepared is having long-term storage, and Mylar bags are one of the best ways to do truly long-term storage because it blocks light and oxygen and all that stuff. So you put oxygen absorbers into your Mylar bag, and if you have a food that won't spoil for like 20 years, it's going to be good in there for like 20 years. Okay. So that's really what it's for. It's for the long-term preparedness, and not because I'm trying to say that Mylar bags in and of themselves are zero waste. They are essentially plastic, but our intended use is to put up long-term food storage for ourselves, but also to potentially prepare meals for like bug out bags, camping, backpacking, all of that. And there will be definitely more on that coming eventually. All right, Azure Standard is done. So let me go ahead and start the haul portion of the video, where I'm going to be talking now about a whole bunch of stuff that I got. Well, a moderate amount of things that I got on earthhero.com, because I truly love them as a company. I'm not affiliated with them at all. I'm open to it. So same thing. I just would say the same things I'm saying right now, but I want to show you what I have gotten, because while you can be zero waste shopping bulk and sourcing secondhand and thrifted goods, it's also, you know, true that you'll have things in your life that you'll need to be replacing and bringing into your home that aren't things that you can source secondhand. Like all this stuff right here. So there are some other options out there, and if it is possible for you in your budget to choose a different option, then go for it, because I'm not going to lie to you and try to pretend that all of this stuff is as cheap as like the cheapest stuff that you can find at your store, because it is not. However, the vast majority of it ends up being comparable. Like if you're already choosing more of an eco-friendly brand in a store, a lot of times making the switch to the like super official highfalutin zero waste one, it's usually almost the same price. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Starting with Drops dishwasher detergent, which I have to say I bought fully expecting them to not work at all, because the only one that would work before for me in my dishwasher was the Cascade. Shoot, I should have looked it up. Cascade, like the premium ultra megastar dope dishwasher detergent, whatever, was like the most expensive one that they had, was the only one that would work. And so when I originally bought these, I was honestly buying them so that in the future I could say, look, I tried the zero waste one and it didn't work. And so it was like justifying going back to my Cascade so I could stop feeling guilty about it, even though microplastics, giant plastic container, which is no longer recyclable, even recycling itself is kind of a scam. It's just like, ugh. Like I have to, okay, I'm gonna link a video Shell Bizzle did below about the recycling. It was like, anyway, I originally did these though because recycling had stopped completely in my area because of COVID. It has picked up again, but they're taking almost nothing compared to what they were taking before. I don't know, is anybody else dealing with that too? Let me know, because I just think it's interesting that things are shifting. And so we are kind of needing to shift our purchasing to plastic-free items, like some of these that are specifically packaged plastic-free, some like those, like I was talking already about, like the bulk stuff that comes in the paper bags already, you know, stuff that you don't have to like change it, like it just already is. So these actually have worked fantastic. I'm kind of blown away by how well they have worked. And so I went ahead and got the giant 120 pack. And what I really love about both sizes that I have purchased so far, I've purchased a small one because I wasn't thinking it was going to work, but it did. But I got to the second box and then I was like, okay, time to reorder, because that's how I do it. I always replace my spare. Some people call it 2 is 1, 1 is 2 is 1, 1 is none. I say replace the spare is how I put it, so that when I get into the spare, that's when I reorder. So these in and of themselves though are a bit pricey, so I haven't been stocking up on these. So I'm still in this motion where I'm replacing them as I go, which is not the best place to be. Eventually I'd like to be stocking up on these, but I want to get our food stores stocked up much more before I focus on stuff like this. But these are actually pretty comparable to the Cascade Premium Ultra Mega whatever things. In price, maybe just a tiny bit more expensive, but like not much. They still work. There's no plastic. I can compost the box. It's great. Love it. Nothing but good things to say about that. Shocked out of my mind that that actually worked. Okay. Next thing is the Fat in the Moon Sensitive Pit Cream, which I bought because my son has run out of deodorant, and we wanted to replace it with you know, a zero waste option or a more zero waste option. So up until this point, he's been using one of the eco deodorants or whatever, but it still comes in a plastic casing. And so this is the smallest size. And so he's already used it. Oh my gosh, just like dropping stuff left and right. He's already used it a couple of times. And so far, so good, he says. And it's not weird, he says, to just sort of get a clean finger and like rub it in. We don't have like a little spoon or a stick for it yet, but he's going to try it out. And then he has yet... Oh my gosh, they're entertaining my daughter. And that is the sound of the house. The house coming down around me because I'm not out there watching my children. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Oh gosh. You know what? I had a goof of an accidental, like an accidental picture I took when I was trying to set up the camera for filming. I'm gonna put that in right now. There you go. That was a present just from me to you. So we're talking about Fat in the Moon deodorant. And so far so good, he says. He has not used it yet in a situation where he's like been running around and really expending a lot of energy. So we still don't have the verdict on how good it is in a situation like that. But so far for daily use, it's been great. And then also we can't use baking soda in our deodorants. Neither he nor I can do that. So this is without baking soda. So that's really good to know. Also though, as a technicality for people who are like really very strictly vegan, this has beeswax in it. I have discussed before my feelings on usage of things like beeswax and honey, even as I consider myself an ethical vegan, but it's ethical for the animals and for the environment. And for me personally, I just feel like beeswax is the best choice in a lot of situations. And so I am still willing to use it for certain things. So anyway, that's not this video though, so we won't get into it. Next thing is replacing his shower mitt. So he has a plastic shower mitt right now, like one of those poofy ones that is just basically going away and just shredding into nothingness. And so it is time to replace it. So I got him the Sisal mitt from earthhero.com, which is what I have been using now for close to a year now. And I really love that thing. And it shows no signs of wearing out, so it's great. And then at the end of its life, it just goes into the compost bin. So this is another thing. It didn't come with any plastic in its packaging or anything like that. And so, yeah, this is for him, his poof now. But I have said it before. I'll say it one more time here, just in case you haven't watched my other videos on my hauls. This takes a lot longer to dry. And so I like to kind of push it open and then let it dry, like hang it on a hook outside the shower and let it dry like that. But for us, our hooks is like literally a hook holding on our shower curtain. And so I use those hooks as the hooks that we hang our poofs. And now 2 of us have mitts on there. And then pretty soon, actually, I'm going to get on here and write our names so that we're not confusing. Because with the poofs, we had different colors. But now if we all get the mitts, we're going to need our names on there, because this is definitely not something I would want sourced, used, cleaning in the shower. So anyway, we want to keep that as separate as possible. And then the very next thing I'd like to bring up is this beautiful Plum Brilliance shampoo bar, which we did buy on earthhero.com, but it was shipped to us separately. I think it's like an affiliate type thing with them too, where this person has items on earthhero.com, but they themselves are responsible for shipping it. It's not like at the earthhero.com warehouse. It's funny, I have somebody outside who's very obviously staring at me filming right now. Oh my gosh, this video. Oh, so distracted. But here, I want to show you her information so you can pause it if you want to. Go check out her independent site. I am absolutely 100% going to do that and see what other products she has available. I love the look of everything. She shipped everything in a home compostable bag, like a home compostable shipping envelope. Like seriously, I'm in love with this girl. And this came just like wrapped in paper and oh, beautiful. Love it. Go check her out. And then the final item from earthhero.com was the G Organics toothpaste tablets. At least that's what I was supposed to get, but I got mouthwash tablets instead. So they are correcting it and sending me the toothpaste tablets, but this is the same, it's the same packaging. So I'll just show that off. This is 720 little tablets for, well, mouthwash. But again, it's the same for the toothpaste. I think it's great. This represents a 3-month supply, a 90-day supply of toothpaste for 4 people brushing twice a day. So I think that that is really good. It's like $30 for the box of the toothpaste. So that represents like $10 a month for 4 people to have highfalutin natural toothpaste. Like, I feel like that is amazing, because I've been buying the highfalutin natural toothpaste. It's just like $5 a tube for like a tiny tube, you know, and then you throw away a tube. So this is all plastic free packaging. And I think it represents actually a very similar price point to what you would be paying for if you already had to pay for toothpaste that was like super, like all natural, no sulfates, no none of that stuff. Because there's actually people who like get sores in their mouths from certain ingredients, and then these are like free of all, well, not, these are mouthwash, but the toothpaste tablets are free of all that junk. So anyway, I'm really excited to actually get those and try those out, and then I can tell you what they're like. But they did send me a return label so that I can return this to them, and I get it. It's expensive. They don't want me to just keep it for free. I hope they're able to resell it, because I didn't even open it. But talking about, now I'm like, what's the next thing? Because I'm just not even going to pretend at this point. I've been shooting this video for like 3 hours. Yeah, 3 hours. So a final talk. And again, very much recognizing that not everybody has the ability to do these things. But probably the most zero waste, low waste thing that you can do is figure out if there is anything that you can grow. If you have a yard like we do and you can actually grow some stuff back there, or if you live in an area where it's friendly to grow in containers. Unfortunately, my area doesn't seem to be one of those areas. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying you might not live in an area that is friendly to container gardening. But if you can grow stuff yourself. So like here I have an example, kind of probably one of my favorites. So especially for any kind of herbal remedies, because I'm so into herbal remedies and like loose leaf tea and stuff like that. If you can grow your own tea plants, like this is calendula. And so far I don't have very much at all. Normally I would have buckets by now. It's getting hotter every winter here. Anyway, that's a whole other conversation, but This is all I've gotten so far. So when you pick, it just produces more and more and more. And I just sort of dry it out on plates until I start getting almost literal buckets of it. And then I start putting it in my dehydrator. But that goes to be all of the calendula remedies that I use in my house come from my own homegrown calendula. Likewise, this year I've taken, these are guys that I just picked this morning because I realized they had turned red on the bushes. And I don't like to do that for multiple reasons. It signals to the plant that, you know, they're done. They look like little Christmas lights, don't they? I just love it. But these are little red jalapenos. So typically the hot like cayenne powder is made from cayenne peppers, but that's not what I have. So like I have taken so many of these and dried them so far. And my plan is then to kind of flake them up. And then instead of a cayenne powder, I'll be using a jalapeno flake, chili flake in recipes. And then I think hopefully it'll turn out good. I don't know, but I'll be sourcing that spice myself, all my basil, all my parsley. This is Jamaican sorrel, which is essentially hibiscus for hibiscus tea. I made a whole bunch of jam out of it and tinctures and stuff. This is what I have left, just dried for turning into teas and whatnot. Any kind of tea plant, herbal remedy, spice, whatever you can grow. A lot of that stuff is really easy to grow. So looking into that, especially if you could plant directly into the ground without a whole bunch of amendments, if you're lucky enough. But even getting local compost, a lot of times you can find places locally that will give you the compost, like from the city. If the city takes a green barrel, a lot of times they make compost. So sourcing stuff like that, and just trying to figure out as many ways as possible as sourcing your own ingredients, making your own ingredients, and working towards living a more zero waste lifestyle. I'm looking actually right out my windows, my little lemongrass plant. I have a lemongrass now too, so I'm going to be having lemongrass. That's another one that actually does really great here during summer. I've got a mango tree out there now too, and that's been out there for a little over a year now. And it's just like kind of gradually, little by little, making more and more choices that move you closer and closer to that kind of low waste, zero waste ideal. But I don't think any of us will ever 100% get there. So anyway, it's an incremental step-by-step thing. And yeah, that's it. I think you need to just do the best that you can do little by little, just little by little choices. I've already said that a million times. So yeah, I think we're going to call it good. We're going to call it a take now. And I just hope that was helpful at all. And as always, I hope the rest of your day is good and your life stays wonderful. If you have any comments or questions, please look down below and then, check out all of the links for everything that I will have down below. And thank you again so much for watching. It means the world to us that you're here. Please like, subscribe, and yeah, we will see you in the next one. Hopefully I won't be as scatterbrained.